Hey guys, my name is Aldas, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about Max Verstappen and how I think he is the next Fernando Alonso. Now, hopefully you guys will enjoy this video, and I really do want to know what you guys think in the comments below, especially speaking about these two drivers because they really are iconic in their own way, really. And as far as their fan base, they definitely have a passionate fan base, if I can put it like that. And if you enjoy the content and want to support the channel, then don't forget to like the videos and smash that subscribe button. Just over a week ago, we were at 18,000 or just over 18,000 subscribers, and now we're close to 20,000 subscribers. So thank you guys so much, and yeah, I really appreciate it. So just smash that sub button, and don't forget to check out my social medias. Instagram and Twitter will be above. But yeah, let's jump into this one. So I'm going to start this video off by really quickly just talking about Fernando Alonso and having sort of a whistle-stop tour of his career. Now, Fernando Alonso started, of course, in 2001 with the Minardi team, who are the definition of a backmarker team, but he impressed so much that he did finally get the promotion and moved to Renault for 2003 until 2006. Now, this was, of course, the peak of Schumacher and Ferrari dominance, but Fernando Alonso, even though he was so young, he had the talent and he had the car to go head-to-head against the most famous man in Formula 1 and the most successful Formula 1 driver of all time and beat Michael Schumacher. He managed to win back-to-back titles in 2005 and 2006, not only becoming the youngest ever champion, but also becoming the youngest ever pole sitter as well. Now, Fernando Alonso always said that his dream would be to race for McLaren, and that is exactly what happened. After winning back-to-back world titles with Renault, he decided to leave the following year in 2007 for McLaren. Now, Fernando would be partnered with the very highly rated rookie Lewis Hamilton, and while the 2007 season at McLaren, Fernando's first time with McLaren I should say, as we'll find out later, it could honestly be a video by itself, but in the short of it, it was a very tumultuous season where there was no team dynamic. There was clearly a lot of friction between Fernando, Ron Dennis, and Lewis Hamilton, and despite having the quickest car that year, without a shadow of a doubt, they managed to both lose the championship by 1 point to Kimi Raikkonen. Now, whilst we always knew that the young Fernando Alonso had the raw pace, and it really was at Renault, we saw just the raw and aggressive pace that he did have. We also saw a different side of Fernando at McLaren, which was no doubt some of the mind games and some of the politics that he did get involved in, but that would be only the start. And after only one season with McLaren, he was kicked out quite publicly actually, and McLaren were definitely not scared to air their dirty laundry to the British media and say that he was out, and that would be the end of his time at McLaren for now. Now, for 2008 and 2009, he would come back to Renault, but it was not the same as it was in the mid-2000s. Renault just did not have the car to challenge for a championship. It was really more of a top-tier midfield car than anything else, but even so, Fernando still managed to outperform the car and not only get a pole position, but also a few wins as well. But in classic Fernando Alonso style, it doesn't matter how much he achieves in an underperforming car, controversy and conspiracy as well always seem to be just over his shoulder, even at Renault with the 2008 Crashgate scandal. It just seems to be a recurring theme for Fernando, and the 2 years at Renault, post McLaren, he really did want to forget and move on from them as quick as possible, and he finally did with his dream move to Ferrari for 2010. Now, Fernando raced at Ferrari from 2010 till 2014, and in those 5 years, he finished in the championship second 4 times. Now, Ferrari was really supposed to be where Fernando Alonso should have won a world title, but despite this, Ferrari never gave him the car to do it. It's just as simple as that. It could never keep up with either the Red Bull or even in most seasons, the McLaren as well. But despite this, like I said, second in the championship for 4 of those 5 seasons is an incredible result, and it just always showed how Fernando was able to outdrive those cars, outperform the cars, despite, once again, more controversy with the team orders incident in 2010 and plenty of inter-team politics throughout his entire career, basically culminating in 2014, where he just outright said that he did not like the brand new team principal, Marco Mattiacci, and that he had to go. Of course, eventually Fernando basically lost his tether with Ferrari after 2014 and another poor season. And even then, as bad as the car was in 2014, he managed to finish 6th in the championship and drag that car up to that place, quite honestly, when his teammate Kimi Raikkonen, a world champion and a very experienced driver, only managed to finish in 12th. But that is it. Fernando had enough of these poor cars and decided in a shock move to go back to McLaren for 2015. And as we now know, since 2015, McLaren just have not been able to deliver anything, not even a car that is worthy of podiums. And all of this meant that Fernando Alonso, who must have been so frustrated to once again land in a team that just could not deliver a good car for him, he decided to retire at the end of the 2018 season. Now, during his second career at McLaren between 2015 and 2018, Fernando Alonso not only once again seemed to always, every single season, outperform that car and beat his teammates. He was never afraid to show his true feelings about the whole McLaren Honda project and anything that he was frustrated with. And although he is a very quick driver, there's no doubt about that, he never seemed to me like the perfect, flawless package. He seemed to have so much raw pace, and even when the car wasn't in the setup window that he would have liked or anything like that, he still leaves nothing left on the track. He gives 110% and always delivers. He is a man that you can seriously rely on to do it on the Sunday in the race. But you know, it just seems like a career that was not fulfilled. He should have had more than 2 championships, and while it is down to the cars that he was driving, Fernando also had a very big part to play in that as well. So having said all that and having that run through of Fernando's history in Formula 1 and some of the qualities that he possesses and some of the downsides that he has as well, why do I think Max Verstappen could be the next Fernando Alonso? Well, to me, they just seem like they're very similar characters. Honestly, they seem like they're cut from the same cloth for some reason to me, because not only do they have incredible amounts of talent and just raw pace, and they're really aggressive drivers and always have been since they came to Formula 1. Funnily enough, actually, of course, Max Verstappen started in 2015 in Toro Rosso, which was previously Minardi, where Fernando Alonso started, and it only took them 1 year to really make it up to the top team. So there's a little interesting similarity as well. But in terms of their raw pace, they always seem to be able to show it and always seem to be able to deliver it. And not only that, they are both fearless and were fearless at such a young age. Fernando Alonso, he was never scared to race Michael Schumacher. If anything, he just reveled in beating the most successful man of all time and taking his crown. And I think, to me, Max Verstappen is exactly the same. I think Verstappen loves racing against Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel because deep inside he knows that despite him not having a car that's just quick enough to match the Ferrari and Mercedes, he can beat them. If they were in the same car, I think he knows that he can seriously put in a proper championship bid, if not win. I mean, he really does believe in himself, and that's fantastic, obviously, and he does have the pace. But just like Fernando Alonso, they're both not exactly very scared to, share their true opinions, both over team radio and in the media as well. I think Max Verstappen a little bit more, but that's just maturity. Fernando, he sort of learnt to keep it in the car, actually. We've heard a bunch of radio outbursts from Fernando, but then when he's actually out in the media, he's a little bit more calm, and perhaps that comes with a bit more maturity. Max Verstappen is not scared to say it over the radio or in team interviews or face-to-face to a driver, as Esteban Ocon definitely found out. So this blend of sort of amazing pace, really aggressive driving, and a fearlessness not only to race other people but also to share your opinion that I think Fernando and Max Verstappen have, it sort of culminates in what I think is, and what I've been repeating over and over again, this ability to outperform your car. Now, Fernando has been doing it for years. Every single, honestly, the back end of his career, every single McLaren season, I thought, how is he doing this? How is he getting these results, even though the car is just plainly terrible? And Max Verstappen, especially towards the end of 2018, really is edging into that as well. He had a bad start to his 2018 season, there's no doubt, but the second half, he would have been a championship contender. The fact of the matter is, yes, of course he was never going to be a favourite, but if he had the start to his 2018 season and got a few more wins, maybe stolen that win from Ricciardo in China and everything like that, and also matched his back end to the 2018, he could have been an outsider for a championship, just like Fernando was in 2012, but the composure for 2018, he just was not there. He was making a little bit too many mistakes at the start, but 2019 is a new season, and once again, this is sort of why I've been drawing this comparison between them two, because in 2019, it just looks like the Red Bull is, as we probably would have predicted, it isn't quite as quick as the Mercedes and Ferrari to really fight for that championship, and perhaps it might have even lost a little bit of pace compared to where it was at the end of last year. But still, despite this setback of not being able to fully compete with the Ferraris and the Mercedes, I think Max Verstappen is almost in an Alonso way maximising what he has, continuing on from where he was last year, outperforming the car, and as we've seen at the start of this season, despite us only being 2 races in Australia, he managed to grab that podium when the Ferraris just weren't quite on it. And in Bahrain, despite him saying that the Red Bull just did not seem to be in the zone, he just drove around that. While his teammate was struggling in the midfield, Max Verstappen just used that huge amount of talent that he has and that really aggressive driving style to just drive around the problem and outperform the car to come home and almost score a second podium in the second race of the 2019 season, had it not have been for that last minute safety car. So to sort of summarize the entire video, I mean, this is why I think I just see so much of Fernando Alonso and Max Verstappen, especially in the 2019 season. His change of demeanor, he seems a little bit more mature, but like I said, we know that he is still the old Max Verstappen. He does still have that fire, just like Fernando did, you know. I do think Fernando obviously matured a lot more, especially into his McLaren years, but over team radio, he still has that spark, just like Max Verstappen, but their speed is undeniable, and their ability to just drive the car, beat their teammates, even when it shouldn't be there. That's why I just think they're so similar. And if Max Verstappen just keeps doing what he's doing, keeps maturing, I think he could have a seriously good 2019 season. He just needs to stay consistent, not make mistakes. And once again, yes, I know the Red Bull might not be on the pace at the moment. Max Verstappen still could seriously be an outsider for the 2019 championship. He has the talent. He has that incredible tenacity. And yeah, only time will tell. And actually, just before I do end the video, there is one more thing I want to say about Max Verstappen and Fernando Alonso, because Fernando really, he, in my opinion, should have achieved so much more. And I think I mentioned this earlier in the video. I think the dynamic he created within the teams, all the stuff he did at McLaren and especially at Ferrari, and the sort of inter-team politics that he was involved in just made it much more difficult for him to get a good seat or for the team to really function at their best. And I think that does come, you know, partly because of his mentor, you know, Flavio Briatore, and I think Max Verstappen has a much better team around him, and he's in a much better team in general. I think Red Bull to really help him grow and make the right decisions for his career in terms of where he's going to move, because he's not going to be at Red Bull all of his life, but he's got the right people around him to make good decisions, because we know Max Verstappen has championships in him. But is it going to be a case of almost like Fernando Alonso and only being able to nick one or two there, or will Verstappen be able to fully achieve his true potential? Because I think Verstappen could easily be a multi-world champion, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe more. We never know. But I think Max Verstappen, just like Alonso, has that spark that can, yes, make him a very good driver and very aggressive driver that's good on track, but can also be someone that's quite difficult to work with and perhaps doesn't create the best team environment where everyone can function to their absolute limit and create the best car for him. Well, you know, that's just my opinion, guys. I just see so many similarities between Fernando Alonso and Max Verstappen in their character, in their driving style, and also just the way they are in general with other drivers. I think Max Verstappen is a lot more sort of coy with the media and definitely expresses himself a lot more. I think Fernando, is quieting that down a little bit, but the similarities to me are there's just too many, and I do really see a lot of Fernando Alonso and Max Verstappen, but in a good way, you know. I think both of these drivers are amazing. Max has just only started his career, really, and has got so much more to come, and obviously Fernando has just ended his career, so yeah. I don't know, guys, what do you think? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Comment in the box below. I really want to know what you guys think, because like I said at the start of this video, these two drivers have very big fan bases, and yeah, I just want to know what you guys think. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to like, subscribe, all of that good stuff if you want to support the channel, and check out my social medias above. But yeah, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.